Hi friends, happy Valentine's Day. Today is Friday, February 14th, 2025. It is Valentine's Day. I hope you are receiving something nice or are able to give something nice to somebody that you love or care about. I told my husband that dinner is on me today, and he laughed because he knows I have a gift card. So there's that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do today. I have been watching a lot of FlossTubers, and a lot of them are doing WIP parades. And I said I wasn't going to do one. And the more I watch, the more I get so inspired. So what I did this week, I brought out all of my patterns, my partially kitted and my fully kitted and my WIPs, and then WIPs that I call WIPs that I haven't started, but they are in a bin that when I finish one project, I'm pulling from that bin. So they're like next in line to be stitched. So I did an Excel sheet on Tuesday, and I was so proud of myself. I started at probably like 11:30 in the afternoon and finished at about 7:45 at night. And I categorized everything, and I put stickers on everything to make sure I knew that they were done, put them into bins. I labeled the bins. I mean, I did the whole shebang, and I was really proud of myself. So when I got through, I looked at the total, and it was 207. Now, it's not all WIPs, okay? I have about 30 WIPs. And what's funny is when I pulled everything together this afternoon to do this, I found another WIP that I forgot to put into my Excel sheet. Anyway, so these are, like I said, these are all of my patterns, and that's not counting like cross-stitch magazines and cross-stitch hardcover books that I have. That's a whole different category in itself. These are just the patterns, like loose patterns. When I partially kit something, it's usually the pattern in the floss, and then fully kitted obviously would include my fabric. Now, I don't have a huge stock of fabric. I do have quite a bit, but I will pull my floss sometimes first, and then I'll match my floss to fabrics. Now, I'm going to Hobby House retreat in April, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So I know that I'm probably going to pull another dozen from my stash to take with me to look for fabrics, because it's very difficult for me to buy fabrics here. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes from Hobby House, so they are technically my LNS, and I love Hobby House Needleworks. And if you haven't been there, please take the opportunity to go. They do have a new building, and they've combined the Quilt Works, the Wool Works, the Needleworks all in one shop. It's just totally amazing. They also have very helpful staff. Now, I've called numerous times with questions and things like that, and they were always right on it, okay? And then there's ordering online. And so I know that when I go to retreat in April, I'm taking a good bunch with me so I can pick up the fabrics, because it's so hard to order fabrics online, and I certainly don't mind doing that, and I love supporting smaller shops. And when I hear a FlossTuber talk about fabrics that they've purchased, I always go and look and see, well, okay, I don't mind adding to my stock. But when I've partially kitted something up, more than likely I want to use those floss colors, whether they're overdyes or whether they're DMC or a mix. I want to use those colors, so I will take that with me to Hobby House and try to match linen. And you know what, if there's a lighter linen that I actually like and some of the floss colors are too light, we swap it out. That's our prerogative, right? It's very easy to do. So with that being said, I have 208 patterns, partially kitted WIPs, okay? It's a conglomeration of them all. And I'm really pretty proud of myself, because out of that whole number, I only have 5 duplicates. One of the patterns is duplicated and kitted, fully kitted with DMC, and the other is fully kitted with overdyes, right? So anyway, the other thing that I did realize, and I'm really glad I did this, I have a few series that I don't really think I'm going to stitch. One of them being Stitching with the Housewives, Trucking Along. Now I bought all 12 after the year. Fat Quarter Shop had the whole 12 of them together in a bundle. So I bought all of the patterns, and then I made sure I bought enough black Aida to stitch everything. I figured out how much I needed because they didn't have big yardages. They only had the packages. So I bought the black Aida, and I'm not even sure if it's charcoal black or if it's like black. And I know there was a big thing with the charcoal black that they're not making it anymore. I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't know if I want to stitch that series anymore. What I do like about the series, and if you haven't seen it, it's really cute. Again, it's by Stitching with the Housewives, and it's got the truck and whatever month it's got, like strawberries or sunflowers or whatever. And then it also has a separate pattern that you can stitch the month, the name. Now, I really like the alphabet for the name. And I do remember when it was coming out, or when people were stitching it, some were stitching the design and not stitching the month, or some were stitching the month on the design. It had a really cute display piece. I want to say it was from Chantel 141. I'm only guessing, so don't quote me on that. But I wasn't going to finish it like that. And now the more I look at it, I'm like, do I even really want to stitch it? So that whole Excel sheet is very helpful to me, because after I come back from retreat in April, because I know I'll be bringing more Plum Street patterns home with me and Heartstring Samplery patterns home. That's who's going to be at retreat. I'm going to need to make room. So I know that probably in May, I'm going to revisit my Excel sheet and go through things and figure out just, what I'm willing to part with. I'm probably going to put some of the series for sale on like Stash Unload, because I am a member of a couple of Facebook groups like that. The biggest thing with that, and this was actually a conversation in one of the groups, shipping. How do you calculate shipping? But that's going to be a task for me in May, knowing that I'm going to be going through everything, and then of course adding new patterns from my retreat in April, and probably from Market. Oh my God, have you seen some of the, I have a list. I'm sure we all have a list. So what I'm going to do is go through my current WIPs. Now, I really do want to try to keep this short, but I might split it into two. I have everything still in bags. I have not unzipped anything. So we're just going to kind of go along and see how this is working. So I want to show you how I store my WIPs. Pausing here. So I have this antique crib that I purchased, and it's perfect to hold all of my bags here. So this is where I currently store some of my WIPs. This is my basket that houses the next in line WIPs. And then of course there's the pile of WIPs that don't fit into either bin. So that's how things store for me. I had my bags all over the place on top of a little end table in my den, and they were literally falling all over because they were this way, then they were tipping. And I went down into my sewing studio, and that crib that I have there, I used to put some quilts in there, my quilts that I need to fix and things like that. And I looked at it and I thought, ooh, I think that's going to be perfect. So I swapped out the little nightstand that I had, and I brought the little crib up. And it's kind of cute because I have my cat Esther. Her little bed is underneath that in the den. And when she wants to get away from the dogs, well, mainly Chet, she will go and hide, or not hide, she'll sleep there because I have her little bed there. Esther doesn't hide from the dogs because she is 7 pounds, 8 pounds of fierce. She is a tortie, so she will handle them on her own. Okay, so let's get started. I think what I'm going to do is after I pull these out, I'm just probably going to just bop them on the floor because it's going to take too long to put everything back. So my bags, I made this bag. This is from Lori Holt. It is her home deck fabric, so it's a little bit heavier. I believe it was on a panel. It was like 2 small and 2 big panels, and then you can make 2 small bags and 2 big bags. So the first here, this is a kit that I found in my mother's stash after she had passed, because my mother did embroidery and she did do some cross stitch, but she was very big with knitting. Now this is from 1996, I kid you not, and my mother started it. It is, you can see it's a little worse for wear here. It is a Debbie Mum, and I loved Debbie Mum. This is a front door bow. Now, I have in the past made quite a few Debbie Mum quilts. I actually have one hanging on the wall over here. Debbie Mum then is like Lori Holt now to me. So this is as far as I've gotten on it, which is a lot more than what my mother did. I actually unpicked a little bit of what she had because it wasn't started in the right spot, and I assume that's why she put it aside. She might not have started it in the right spot. So, you know, it's Ada, and I really like it, but it's the back stitching. It is the back stitching for me, and, you know, back in the day, in the 90s, that was all the thing, and that was cool, and we were fine with that. But now when we see patterns, and actually this pattern, is this pattern? No, it's not hand-drawn. But some of the hand-drawn patterns are just so difficult to work with right now because of what we are used to currently. So that's number one. Some of these bags are the Amazon special, right? They work. I use these downstairs to hold some of my patterns for projects that I'm working on for clients. This, I believe I spoke about, and this is actually one of my duplicates. Duplicate pattern. It is the Christmas Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I talked about this last time that I started the wrong one. I started the one by Stony Creek when I really wanted to start this one. And, well, now. Well, that's interesting. Where is it? Did I not technically start it? Maybe I didn't, because here's the package. All right, it's sitting here waiting to be started, and I know why I didn't start it, because also housed in this bag is my snow day stitch. And the other day I heard on the weather, or on the news, that we have had snow every day for the past 40 days. So that was a few days ago. Every day there's been some snow. So I have gotten to the point where I am tired of working on this, and I haven't finished it, and I promised myself that I wouldn't start the Christmas Rules until I finish the Wee Santa. And I've shown this, and I've talked about it, and I really have not stitched any more on it. This is where I'm at. And I have explained that I'm stitching 1/2 because I like the look of a more muted piece. And my intention was that once I got done, I was going to stitch it smaller with 2 threads. And I am so over this piece right now. But I do love it because the flowers just remind me so much of quilt blocks. I love Heart in Hand. I love her pieces. But, so Christmas Rules is technically not started, but it's right here waiting to be started. And as I said, this is one of my duplicates because I have 2 patterns. So I think what I might also do, because there's just a couple patterns that I have duplicated, the rest are like somewhat kitted. I think I might take the patterns with me to retreat and then just put them on the share table, because I'm sure that there's going to be people there that will be sharing goods as well. This is called I Stitch, and this is a Teresa Kogut piece. I'm doing this on Picture This Plus Oaken, and haven't started it. It is in my WIP pile, and I don't think I can show you the piece or the picture of it because it is the actual pattern. This was from Nashville 2024. This was her freebie, and it shows the lady holding scissors, and she's got a little a bird in a hoop over here, and it says, "I stitch, that's what I do." So I have the Oaken, and I am using the called for colors, which, you know, I've heard of other stitchers putting together their favorite palette, and when they find something that they really like, they pull their palette. And I'm telling you, Kim Deal is my favorite. I love her colors. But this Oaken in those colors, oh my goodness. So this is another one. Apparently this is one that I didn't start again. It's in the pile. This I started for my husband a couple years ago, and I'm ashamed to say I did not finish it. My mother-in-law passed a couple years ago, just before Christmas. It was a very unexpected, and I loved the woman. My husband and I have only been married a few years, but she welcomed me into her family as if I was there from the beginning. So, nope, that's the pattern. It is called Cardinal Kin by Plum Street. Again, Plum Street. Now, my husband's dad also had passed away when he was very young. So I chose this pattern. This is as far as I've gotten on it. I chose to do the male and the female version to represent his mom and his dad. Now, this is stitched on a linen. It is 32 count Witchelt White Chocolate by Hollis Hands Creates. I am using the called for DMC Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colorworks flosses, and I am stitching one strand over two. And again, I'm embarrassed to say that I did not finish this. This was supposed to be a Christmas gift for 2023, and that's just horrible. So, yeah. And there's a couple other pieces in here that I have started way too long ago that have not been finished, and it's embarrassing to say. And why? I know I'm not the only one. I know we all do this. It's a bad habit. Okay. This is in another bag I made. I don't know the pattern. I don't care for this particular pattern. I didn't like... You know what? I think this might have been one of those quilt as you go patterns, but I didn't use it as a quilt as you go. What I didn't like the instructions for was this piece right here, the additional piece. So, you know, and then of course, I do a lot of the crochet flowers, the Lori Holt pattern. I just think they're really cute. So this one is called Saltbox Quilt Sampler. Ooh, I love this one. Every time I see this one, I think of Carol Saltbox. I believe I've shown this. Now, I am not doing it to fit that box. I mean, if I find something like that, that's great. But more than likely, I will just frame this. I started this October 31st. This is a Brenda Gervais pattern. I started it October 31st. I'm stitching on 32 count Jackalope by Lap and Loops, Hollis Hands Creates. And I'm using all the called for except a couple of them that I changed because of the color of the linen. And this I'm actually using a hoop on. Generally I stitch in hand, but I am using a hoop on this because of the, I want to say instability of the linen. Now, I have mentioned before, I leave needles in and I do not iron. I wait until I'm done. So, it is what it is. I'm just going to pull this a little bit back because I'm sitting in the light here to help get natural light. So this is where I am right now. I love this. Oh my gosh, I just love this. A lot of it can be fill-in, and I did do fill-in on the house. There are times that the brain just doesn't want to function properly, and you know, you just look for those pieces that you know you can just sit and work on. This is, what did I say, 40 count? I think I'm only doing a couple of pieces. Is it 40? No, it's 32, because I was going to say, oh, I don't generally work on 40 count. But because it's a very looser linen, I find that I need to work in a hoop. And then, of course, it's sitting there, and that's a whole process in itself when I have to work with a hoop. So I like to call these pieces situational stitching, because depending on my situation is going to be what I pick to stitch, right? This is called This Is My Happy Place, and it is by the Scarlet House. This is another one that I did start, and I find that I have to work in a hoop because I am working on linen. I started this in November of 2024. I'm going to try to put the piece behind it. Dangling thread. It's off of my needle. Oh, it's still attached. Whatever. I'm also finding that there's hoop marks on there. Let me pull it a little bit. Is another fussy linen. This is the pattern by Scarlet House. And you can see how light the stitching is on there, where it says, This Is My Happy Place. So I chose to use a darker linen. Do they even say? They stitched the model on 40 count putty. And I thought that, I mean, that looks nice. But I chose to go with this greenish color. What is it called? What? I'm using putty? Why does that not look like this, even the same? Holy cow. Well, I know why, because I'm using 36 count putty, and the called for is 40 putty, so it's always going to take a little bit differently. But it's funny, looking at the picture looks more brown, and my linen actually looks more green. So, but that's okay. This is another one of those pieces that I look at and I say, okay, do I have the wherewithal tonight to stitch on this? And again, I am using a hoop. And honestly, I don't like using a hoop. I don't like the stretching. I don't like the marks that it leaves. But that's what irons are for, right? Okay, next. This is another Lori Holt bag that I did. It's also from that Decorator Weight fabric. I think I spilled coffee on this one. I did. My goodness. All right, this one is called Autumn Love, and it is a Lori Holt piece. And I'm really struggling with this one. I don't know. I have the whole exterior done. Take that piece of thread off of there. So I have the whole exterior done. All right, I love the colors. I love that teal blue. What I don't care for is the house in the center. I do not care. Oh, that's straight. There we go. I don't like the squirrels. They've got to go. I don't care for the color, which is no big deal. I don't want it to say autumn. I'm tired of stitching the little blocks. So this has been in timeout for a bit. Now, I love the Lugana. I love her designs, but it was getting to the point that it was just so fussy stitching that, you know, I'm finding that if I'm doing a project that has a lot of fussy stitching to it, I can only handle it for so long. And then I gotta work on something that's a little bit more, gosh, I don't even know what the word is. Not fussy, right? So I keep looking at this, thinking how I need to change this. I would, first of all, change the color of the house to the color of my house and my shutters, which is no big deal. I can definitely do that. I'm okay with the pumpkins on the front, but the squirrels have got to go. They just have to go. I don't know. But anyway, I even thought about making a quilt block to put in the center, but it is such an odd shape that math and geometry. You know what I could do, now that I think about it, is recount what my center is. Now, I know Lori Holt has got, I do have her stitch cards here too, so I can always look at that and see if maybe I can fit some of those small stitch cards in the center. That's an idea. See, sometimes you just got to put things away. But again, this is Autumn Love by Lori Holt. And I am doing this on Lugana. I love Lugana. Love, love, love Lugana. Let me see where my notes are. See if I can tell you more. I know that I am using the called for DMC, and it is on a Lugana. I actually kept the, it's her vintage cloth by Lori Holt, Barley, and it is 25 count. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is go look through my, figure out how much is left in the center there, and then go look through my Lori Holt stitch cards and see if there are some other designs that I want to put in there for fall. I think that would be really, really cute. All right. There's still a hope for that piece. This is another Lori Holt bag that I made. I did quilt this one. I think I've quilted them all. I have. Again, it is her decorator weight fabric, and I'm almost positive these came on a panel, like maybe 4 to a panel, 4 big ones, or 2 big ones, 2 small ones, something like that. This one is no name, but I do have my Foreigner pass on here. When we went to see Foreigner, we had backstage, well, not backstage, we had like, whatever, specialty seats. I don't know what they were called anymore. Home Sweet Home by Primrose Cottage. Yes, I know today is Valentine's Day, but it's not going to be done, and that's okay, because it will be eventually. This, again, I'm using a hoop on, and it is going rather quickly, but again, it is a fussy stitch. I want to make sure I don't get the pattern in the way there, because I have it hooked on here with, it's on my magnetic board. I don't know, let me pull this off so you can see it. I don't know if you have seen these. Well, I'm sure you have, because this is how I found it. Somebody showed on FlossTube. These magnetic boards from Amazon, really inexpensive. I have probably 4 or 6 of them now. I do have some down in my quilt studio, and obviously I have some here, and I really like that there are those fussier patterns that, like this one, that I can keep the pattern up. And the other thing I like about Primrose patterns is they're in color. So I can put this pattern there and I can glance over and count, and it works out really well. I still have, from years and years ago, I'm sure some of you have them as well, the magnetic boards, the old-fashioned magnetic boards. Anyway, so here's my Home Sweet Home, my progress on Home Sweet Home. I really like this teal in here. I believe it's called, oh, what did they're actually using different floss this time, and I had to buy the thread pack through them. I'm stitching on 32 count Zweigart Belfast linen in blush, and color and cotton threads is what's in here. I bought the Master Floss pack for Valentine's Day. So that color is called, well, there's two blues in here. They're both very pretty. This is Puddle Jumping, and this is Duck Egg. And they're very, very cute. Very close in color. So I know that some people were a little disappointed that they were using the color and cotton because it was difficult to get the floss because they sold out of the floss pack so quickly. So I didn't care if this was done today or not. It's going to be done, and that's all that matters to me. But here's my progress. Now, Lindsay did show the tutorial on how to make, not this particular pillow, but she has a pillow. Oh, you know what? It's on the Be Mine. It was for the free Valentine pattern, which I haven't even started. I know that I'll get to that. But she showed a pillow with an envelope pocket in the front. It was really cute. So I'm sure if you hop onto YouTube and search the Primrose videos, you can find that tutorial on how to make that pillow with the envelope pocket in the front for the Be Mine stitch. It's really cute. And that was the free stitch for February, I believe. So if you do watch Primrose or do follow Primrose, I know I just watched them yesterday. Today for Friday is the free pattern for the quilting, and they showed the pattern yesterday. It's a house table runner. I think it's got 2 or 3 houses on it with a charm pack border. It's really cute. Really, really cute. It could be done in, and Lindsay even said this, it could be done in so many different colorways, like for spring, summer, fall, winter, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day. You could do everything. Birthday would be really cute too. This is Chester's Place, and I know I've shown you this before. And oh, here's one of the old-fashioned magnetic boards. I'll show you the back. Right? Who made this? Loran, L-O-R-A-N. I've got a few of these, and then along with it the clear magnet that goes across the top, a ruler. Clear ruler that goes across the top. So I am stitching this in 18 count Rustico Ada, a Zweigart Ada, and I'm sure all of you that have heard about this pattern, it was put together as a fundraiser for a pet that needed, I think it was a cat that needed some dental work. Don't quote me, not 100% on it, but of course, I jumped on it, and I know Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. Hi, Sarah. Stitched this in honor of her dog, Chester. That Chester passed a year ago, and honest to God, it hit me like a ton of bricks because my girl Maisie had passed not too soon before that, and oh, it was just so heartbreaking. But anyway, this is my Chester's Place. I do have the whole house done. And now I am doing the fill-in. You can see that there. So along the bottom here, where the animals are going to go, I would like to stitch dogs, my dogs. And I have, right now I'm on my 6th and 7th English lab. Out of all of the labs, out of the 7 labs that I've had, 2 of them have been yellow females. So I think I will do 2 yellows and 5 black. So I've had, 7? So I've had 3 males, 3 black males, 2 black females, and 2 yellow males. No chocolates, because chocolates are crazy. So I love this piece, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working on it. And it's funny because, oh, let me show you the pattern. It's by Whistle Stop Stitcher Designs. And I suspect that this is still available. But you can see the animals down the bottom there. She's included all different kinds of animals. And as I said, I just want to put dogs there. I mean, I always have cats. I'd have to have a bigger piece if I wanted to put all the cat pictures on there. So, so that is another piece that's waiting to go. And it's funny because when I listen to FlossTube and everybody's WIP parades, they're like, why have I not stitched this? How come I haven't finished this? I'm saying the same thing. How have I not finished this so far? All right, we're doing good. We're at about a half hour. I think I'll be able to make it through if I stop yammering. This I have also shown, and I talked about this before, that I had participated in a Christmas exchange in one of the Facebook groups, and the lovely stitcher that I stitched for enjoyed shepherd's bush patterns, so I stitched for her this snowflake pillow, and I also stitched it in a smaller count, so she had a big one and a small one. And I thought, well, you know what? I like this pattern, so why don't I do this for myself? Well, I stitched these guys. I don't know where I put it. I know it's not finished, and I know it's in a pile of finishing. I don't know. So right now what I'm working on is the top pillow, and it says, "We shall have snow." And it is on some 28 count prim that I took from another Lori Holt pattern that I just was not enjoying stitching. And I thought, well, I don't want to waste the cloth. So I'm actually stitching that on here. And it's not too bad. I chose different colors, or I'm using some of the called for, and then I'm just pulling, you know, what would work for me. So this is where I am on this little guy. And he's okay for now. And he might go to the back now, you know, because this is kind of a winter stitch. And I'm going to show you some things that I got in haul today when I went to Hobby Lobby that, of course, now I immediately need to stitch a St. Patrick's thing. So I do have this in here, and it's one of those, like when I go babysitting or something, I like to have something with me to work on, and I'll probably take something like that because it's really almost done. There's hardly any stitches to it at all. All right, next, things are going to start. This has been sitting because it is a fall piece, and I've only got so far on it, and again, I'm a little like, oh no, how can I redo this? And I love this. This is the new Gobbletons. And I love this. It is so cute. I love Quakers. So when I first saw this, I thought, oh my gosh, and I bought this pumpkin fabric for it, the called for fabric. And when I started it, I tried to follow the placement that is shown here. Okay, see where they are? They're almost at the bottom edge of the pumpkin. Well, looking at it, there's so much, and I know that there's a lot there for framing, but it just feels so big and so vast. And I know that if I look at it in the frame itself, it's framed from about here. And, well, that would be the bottom right there. So this and this. So I'm looking at it like, I'm not sure if I really like all of that negative space up top there. So I'm going to finish her up. And again, I put this aside because this is really more of a fall piece. And I love how the colors are popping on this and the Quaker style of it. And I am using the called for, you know, and it is going together rather well. It was, as I should say, not is, because I have not touched it since probably November, which is fine. I had no intentions on having it done last year. But I need to re-examine what I want to do with the top there, because to me, that is just too much. So I don't know if I want to figure out what size of a frame I want to put it in, and then maybe up in the corners here, add a couple more Quakers. I do have, I should have pulled that out. I do have a book on Quakers. Oh, I do have it because it's in one of my WIPs. And this is the book here, because this is actually something that I'm working on. I may as well talk to you about this right now too. Don't want to show this Quaker Samplers book, because they have, obviously they have full Quakers. They have Quakers coming off from the side, Quakers coming from the top. This is a great book. If you enjoy Quakers, it was a very good investment. I believe I got it off of Amazon. The price on the back of this is $30, which honestly I didn't think was all that bad, considering the amount of information that is in this book and the number of things that you could do. So looking at my little gobbletons here and knowing that I have such an expanse at the top, I might take this book and figure out a frame once I get her done, figure out frame size, and then add some more Quakers at the top, just maybe in the corners, because I can. So let me show you this other piece that I'm doing that I don't think I can show you a picture. Maybe I can. Okay, I can show the picture if I do not. So this is what I'm doing. Now, in that exchange that I did for Christmas, when I made the ornament for my stitchy friend, somebody else had my name, and she sent me, and I showed it back in one of my earlier videos. It was a beautiful Christmas trees, and she did it as a flat fold. I've already packed it away. She did it as a flat fold. She did beading on it. It was so pretty. It's the first flat fold piece that I have. Well, she also sent me, and I want to say this is X-Jew because I have some, this sparkly, can you see the sparkles in there? This Ada. She sent me this piece of Ada. And she also sent me this 100-yard hank of floss. Now, I've never used this floss. It's called Moe's Sail, and it is bright. So I chose, or did she send me this fabric? Maybe this was fabric that I had. I can't remember now. Oh, that's horrible. But anyway, I chose to stitch a Quaker on this. And I'm going to hang it up in my bathroom because my bathroom is like peach and, you know, a light aqua and stuff. And I've already taken it upstairs to see if it's going to look nice. And it will. So, but I got the design from this Quaker Sampler book. And I thought, you know what? It's really stitching out nicely. But what I'm doing, because I really want to have variety in my threads, when I look at this thread, you can see where it's dyed. It's not as much variegated as maybe, I don't know, I've never dyed threads. Maybe they dunked this side and then they came and they dunked this side. So when I'm stitching with this, I'm trying to be aware of where my green and my orange is going to fall. I'm trying to not have a lot of green touching green or orange touching orange. So what I'm actually doing when I'm stitching this is I'm jumping around. It's a very easy pattern to follow. I know some people have difficulty with Quakers, and I usually have very hard time with geometric things, especially with quilting. And I'm going to talk about that at the end, about this pattern that I'm testing for somebody. But following this pattern, it's really been quite easy. And of course, this is on Ada, so it's a very tightly woven Ada though, because it's been over dyed, or it's been dyed. But so I'm trying to make sure that when I'm choosing my thread length, or I run out of a piece of thread and I go to start another, that I jump around so that I'm mixing that orange and green together. And because there's such a big expanse of color on the thread. And I'm sorry, I'm not one that stitches with a piece of thread like this. I'm a 3-yard long stitcher. Not 3 yards, 1 yard, 3 feet. You know what I mean. I like a lot of thread. I don't like to have to keep changing. So, you know, I'm just being very cautious when I'm stitching that. And I'm actually really enjoying it. Now next is, and I've talked about this before, and so many of us are doing this. This is the sale, the One Stitch at a Time sale, hosted by Across the Pond. This is the pattern. It is so pretty. Now I know that a lot of people are changing how they are doing it. A lot of people are not putting that outer border on because they're afraid that when they go to have it framed, it's not gonna, you'll see that if it's not straight. I don't have a problem with that. Oh look, here's another one of my metal boards with my magnet. So I did start this in January. This is, I want to say it's 5 or 6 months. I can't remember how it's broken down, but of course it's however long you need to stitch, right? I'm using 36 counts Weigart Edinburgh linen, Rocky Mountain, and I'm using the Weeks Dye Works, the called for threads. And I love it. Again, I'm using a hoop, and I've got a Nurge hoop, and I don't like Nurge hoops. I don't generally like hoops, period. But what I chose to do with mine, let's see if this piece is big enough. It probably is not. This is a very light color linen. I chose to start to do the whole border first. At least I want to get the top part done. So this is where I am. I'm working on the lettering. I am already behind, but again, it doesn't matter. It is turning out very nice. And as I have said already, when I work on linen, I have to do it as one of the first projects I work on at night. Like if I know I am in for a night of stitching and I want to work on 2 or 3 or even 4 different things, I need to make sure that I start with a linen project because I can get frustrated. It's the Irish in me and the German and the Polish. So again, I try to, maybe other people do this too. What kind of day did you have? How do you want to relax tonight? Are you still a little agitated from things that have gone on today? Is your mind not really able to focus? You choose your pattern or you choose your project accordingly. Again, situational stitching. You're going to stitch on something that's going to make you happy because stitching is what makes us happy, along with quilting, coffee and chocolate, puppies. All right, next. This is another bag I made. I took this little piece in the front here. One of my girls that I work with, she's clearing out her stuff and she had this pattern to make mug rugs. And this was one of those pre-printed little panels in there. And I thought, oh my goodness, how cute. I am going to put this into a bag. So this bag I made, I just have a zipper at the top. And I'm really not a fan of those, but whatever. It's for me. I'm okay with it. So in here, again, I did not put my little card in here because why would I do that? Oh, Americana blue. Let me tell you, friends, let me tell you. I went to Hobby Lobby today. And honestly, I didn't even think about this until I was walking through the store. I'm like, oh, my Americana red. I took Americana red there to be framed, right? And I thought, well, I know it's not going to be ready till next week. They told me not till the 18th, but I'm in the store. I'm just going to check. So I go back And I say to her, look, and I know it's not ready, and that's okay, but I really thought of it when I was walking through the store. I just wanted to see the progress or check on progress. So she's like, it's not a problem. She went and looked. She's like, well, we're literally waiting for the frame. It's all laced and mounted. We're waiting for the frame, and we are, they're unloading the trucks right now. And I went, oh, just, do you want to see it? Oh. So I got a peek of it, and it is beautifully laced. It's better laced than I would have done. The way that they've mounted it. The only thing I wish they would do is put, I like to put a very thin layer of quilt batting on my pieces, on my mounting board, just to give them a little something to stand them out from the frame. But that's me. And I did have that option. I could have had them cut me a piece of mat board, and I could have done that, and I could have laced it, and then I could have taken it back in and ordered a frame. But I said, you know what, I'm going to try this experience first. And I don't know if I told you how much it cost me. It was like $85 for them to lace and frame this. And honestly, I didn't think that was a bad price. So the piece as it stands now, laced and ready to go, that piece, I worked a lot on that piece after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I worked on it to help me focus from that to my stitching. And it's a very, very meaningful piece to me. So I started Americana Blue on January 1st of this year. And I'm really hoping to have it done this year. Oh, here's another one of my boards. Again, like I said, these are from Amazon. And they're very sturdy, and of course they're magnetic. So, oh, you see this little right here? It was one of my mother's earrings. I put a magnet on it. So this is my Americana Blue, and no, there's not much of a start to it. And let me tell you what I'm stitching it on. 36 count chocolate milk by Seraphim, and I am using Blue Jeans by Weeks Dye Works, and I am stitching 1/2. And yes, it is a little bit lighter, but I like that. This to me looks vintage, and I am telling you, I know I'm sitting in the dining room here because I want some natural light. But this is where I am on this. And I'm almost 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 7. Well, I'm probably about 2/3 of the way done across the top. So it is going to be a pretty decent sized piece. Now on Americana Red, I did change things. I made it a smaller piece. Americana Blue here, the only changes that I can see that I'm going to make for myself, obviously I'm going to put my initials in the box. And then where it says 23, where does it say it? Up here. I will put 25. But I really don't see myself making very many other changes to this. Not like I did in Americana Red. I'm loving everything about this. I get so excited when I see this piece. And she even asked me when I took Americana Red in to be framed. She's like, well, are you going to display the two pieces together? I said, well, I sure hope so. Because, we talked about getting matching frames and that. And I said, you know what? I don't have to have matching frames because I don't. I will pick a frame for Americana Blue that makes Americana Blue shine. It's a different color thread. It's a different color linen. I'm a happy girl. Okay, so here's something else I have not started. Now, I showed you that Quaker book that I have, And I've spoken briefly about the retreat that I'm going to in April. Now I know that there are going to be people at my table. I've got to find out from Hobby House how they're going to be situating it. I know the last time I went to a retreat, I think we had 8 people at our table total. And I want to have little table gifts. So I thought of making, in that Quaker book that I showed you, any small Quaker could be turned into a little tiny small, a little ornament or something. And that's what I think I'm going to do. So I pulled out my color and cotton threads. I generally don't purchase color and cotton, and I know that I got some as like, you know, they were doing like sample things or whatever, and a little bit of a club or what, I don't even remember. So I did get some. And I have this X-Jew Ada, and I bought this by mistake because I don't care for sparkly. I just don't like sparkly. I don't like gold in my fabrics, my quilting fabrics. You know how you get that sparkly stuff? I don't like it. My daughter danced for years and years and years, and she is still on stage, right? I have had enough of sequins and glitter and everything else. I don't want it in my fabric for quilting. I don't want it in my fabric for Ada or cross-stitching. So I bought this all by mistake, and these are autumn color Adas, and you know they're pretty. I do like the coloring to them, but they got that glitter in it, and I don't like it. So I think what I'm going to do is take the Quaker book, take my color and cottons, find a comparable Ada here, and make some smalls as table gifts for my table mates. That is if we are round tables. I don't know. So this has not even been started yet, and it's still just an idea, but it's in my WIPs because it's going to be started. Oh, Lori Holt stitch cards. This is an ongoing thing. I have almost all of the stitch card sets. Okay, I'm sure you've all seen these. She only has a few more letters to go to get to Z, and then she'll be done. What I like about these is they are interchangeable with like a lot of Lori Holt's patterns. And as I talked about Autumn Love, I can see if I can take these and turn these into other blocks to put within that Autumn Love piece. Just because, you know, I do have some pieces here that I finished. I don't even remember when I did these little blocks here. Right? I think that, I think I was going to make little smalls for these for like spring and put them in my little dough bowl. Maybe that's what I was going to do, because these are all kind of springy looking to me, right? Look at that. I guess I could do that. But I do have some in the bags here, and both of these bags I did make. This is my Halloween bag. Clearly I do not have a Halloween stitch going right now. Well, technically I do. It's in the 1990s WIP pile, and I'm not kidding. So I've been working on like these fall ones here. Now this stitch set has a couple of fall pieces in it, the little tractor and stuff like that. So I do have a few that I've done. Like these I was actually taking to Roswell when I was waiting to get my treatments. These are very quick. I had a lot of different things that I took when I was going through treatment and stuff like that. I took embroidery, which I've shown you. I took some of these stitch cards, anything that's small. So see, like here, this I think I could put in there. I might be able to put that black cat in there just for fall. These are animals. This would be cute in there too, because, you know, that's for school. And that's in the fall. Just, you know, like I said, I've got a bunch of the stitch card sets. And I know that once she hits Z, she's going to be done. So this will be another... Here, I'll show you the bag. This I did out of a panel of Halloween fabric that I had. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look at those stitch cards, figure out the middle of that Autumn Love, and see if I can work something out there. This is called Hope, Summer at Pansy Patch Manor. And, oh, I'm at an hour. I think I might actually stop after this one and then continue on in a second video next week. This is the pattern. I'll turn it this way first. Hope, Summer at Pansy Patch Manor. It's by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. This is the actual pattern this way. I am using the called fors. Again, fall colors. They're just gorgeous. This I'm doing on Ada. And I chose it because the quilt block, or the house, has a churn dash block in it. So this is where I'm at with this. And I love it. It's very cute. I'm thinking the border is going to be a little fiddly with those flowers, because I don't carry threads. I very rarely carry threads. I shouldn't say I don't. I very rarely carry threads, and I do the pin stitch start on something like that. But I can just see where it's going to be fiddly. So I am stitching this on an Ada. Of course, I didn't write down, is this the envelope for it? I didn't write down what it is. Did I? What's on the card? Nothing. It's blank. Oh, Barb. What is the called for? Yeah, 36 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. One strand over. I am doing it one strand, but it is on Ada, and honestly, I don't know what it is. So there we have it. It might be in my, no, it wouldn't be. I was going to say it might be in my old book of days, but I'm sure it's not. So, you know what? This is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop here, and because I'm already at an hour, and I still have probably a good dozen and a half more things to go. Briefly, I want to show you some of the things I picked up today at Hobby Lobby. Now, I know some people choose not to shop there, and that's fine. That's your choice. But I did find some really good bargains today. I found this ruler rack for $5.50. I do have one or two downstairs in the quilt studio, but for $5, I will definitely do more. This got me right away, and I bought all of them. These are little Easter ornaments. Look at the vintage look to these. These were 40% off. Look at that. You know what it reminds me of? Paper dolls. Like, literally paper dolls. Like we had when we were kids. Or I had when I was a kid. Right? These are adorable. I looked at them. There's another one. Where is it? I looked at them. I was like, I want them all. Look at this. Isn't that sweet? So these are at Hobby Lobby right now. They're normally $2.99. They were 40% off. Something that I am going to sit and do today, because why not? Why not start something else that's new? I got some St. Patrick towels because, of course, there are dogs on them. 40% off. Everything. I generally do not buy anything at Hobby Lobby unless it's on sale, or unless I absolutely have to have it, like the yarn, which was on sale last week and I bought today. So I got these kitchen towels, and the reason I did this is because why don't I just sit down and crochet the tops to the kitchen towels so I can have them hanging in my kitchen? You know, the ones that hang on your drawer pulls or your stove handles. Because what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10 towels. How long will it take to crochet the tops? It's all right. That's a project for tonight. I know that there's a free pattern out there. I already looked for it. Now, yes, today is Valentine's Day, and I know after today we're all going to be hunting down stuff to do for St. Patrick's Day. But look at this. Wouldn't this make a great finish for St. Patrick's Day? just a small on here. You got the little books. And I know there was another design there too, but I thought, how cute would that be to do a little St. Patrick's something and just finish it on this. This to me was a little bit more pricey. It's regular $5.49, but again, it was 50 or 40% off. And then I just got some little sparklies to put in my dough bowl for my Valentine stuff. And of course, I got another box to house my patterns in. So let me show you briefly. I have one cross stitch finish for Valentine's Day, and this is Big Hearted Tiny Town. This was a sale in 2023. And this I stitched, it's on 28 count Zweigart Lugana in Dapple Brown. I'm reading my card. I have it on the back here. See? I stitched 2/2 using the called for Classic Colorworks weeks and some DMC. I started at January 6th of 2023, finished at January 24th, and then fully finished at February 12th of 2023. So, Big Hearted Tiny Town by Heart and Hand, and then I finished it myself. And if you can see, can you see the height of the finish here? Because I put batting behind it, and that's what I'm saying when I say I like to have a little bit of it's not depth, maybe it is depth. I like it to stand out a little bit. I didn't want it to sink back into this frame. So this hangs in my side hall. And then as far as quilts, of course I have more quilts. This is the only, honestly, this is the only Valentine piece that I've cross-stitched and finished. I don't even have the little pillows, but I have quilts. This I did. This is just a little table runner. Very quick and easy with charm packs. Very easy. Of course, I quilted that on the long arm. No, I did not. I quilted that on a mid arm. This I literally made from scraps. It's basically a rail fence. I quilted it with hearts. This is the backing fabric. And this backing fabric was the leftover fabric from this wall hanging that I did. This was a series, you can actually see the heart designs in here. I did the same thing on the small piece I just showed you. This was a series of monthly wall hangings that I bought during COVID, and I still don't have them all done. Every month is a different design, and I don't even know if I have the St. Patrick's one done. But it came with the panel. It came with this actual panel, and then it came with a complimentary fabric so that you could use that on the back. Well, I thought that, you know, I didn't want to do that, so I used it on the back of here. You can see that it matches. And then this fabric, I found this fabric at Goodwill or Amvets. Look at, it's French. Isn't that sweet? Paris and Je t'aime, and yeah, I found, I want to say they were curtains, and I found it at Amvets. I just thought the fabric was really cute. So you can see the quilting design on it. It just says "Be Mine." Okay, and then I did some binding in purple, but that's it. I do have other quilt things that I've done for Valentine's Day, but as far as cross stitching, it's funny because before I started today, I walked around and I said, how come I don't have very many Valentine cross stitch pieces? How come I only have one? But then again, usually I don't, or I didn't cross stitch for holidays, other than Christmas, you know, like St. Patrick's Day or Easter or stuff like that. I really didn't cross stitch for, because back in the day, I did a lot of decorations like plastic canvas and stuff. And a lot of my cross stitch pieces were just whatever I wanted to make for the house. So, but now there are so many really cute decoration type pieces for the different holidays that, you know, I thought, well, but Unfortunately, some of them are just so fussy. Like this Tiny Town, I love the Tiny Towns, love them. I think I have 2 or 3 Tiny Town patterns that I came across, like Harvest Tiny Town and Any Town, Tiny Town. That one I really would like to do too and personalize it for my area. But they're fussy, a lot of little stitching. And again, I'm going to use the term situational stitching. It's going to depend on what I want to do. I'm just looking over there. I see another table runner that I did. It's on the hutch. I'm going to stitch, or maybe we all feel this way. We stitch what we feel we can accomplish or do well on in that particular stitching session. I certainly don't want to stitch on something and have to unstitch it, because that would make me mad. All right, so that's where I'm going to stop today with this part of my WIP parade. I do have more. I'm going to finish that another time. Quick life update here. I have finished all of my radiation treatments, and right now I am just dealing with the radiation burns, and they're not burns like you would think. What I try to explain to people is it's a mix of a sunburn and a heat rash. So it's just a few more days of very uncomfortable, and then according to my radiologist, we'll start to get better. So fingers crossed. Anyway, my goodness, I was going to keep this short and I didn't. So this is part 1 of my WIP parade. I will come back with part 2. Thank you if you've made it this long. I would truly love it if you would click the like button and subscribe. I just like to know that I have people out there that are watching and don't mind listening in the background as you're stitching. I have a lot of floss tubers that I do that with. I'm like, oh, they're on for an hour, hour 15, hour and a half. Great. Then I know I have that much stitching time that I can devote because I want to listen. Sometimes if I only have a half of an hour, I'm going to find a shorter floss tube to listen to. That's how it works for me. I know tonight, being Friday, I already saw Karen Monogamous Stitcher has posted her video for today. I would suspect that Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot will have hers up today too. She is my favorite. She and Carol Saltbox and Brenda and Laura. Brenda and Laura are going to be at the retreat in April. Let me just tell you really quick. It is at Hobby House Needleworks in Rochester, New York. And it is Friday, April 25th through Sunday, April 27th. Heartstring Samplery and Plum Street Samplers will be there. It's going to be held at the Woodcliff Hotel in Pittsford. And oh my gosh, if you have never been, please, please, please try to attend. All the information is on the Hobby House Needleworks website. When you go to Hobby House Needleworks, scroll down, you'll find where it says classes. Click on that and you'll see all of the upcoming events. They host the best retreats. I so enjoy it. So anyway, if you're going to be going to that one, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. Maybe we can sit at the same table. Again, thank you for staying with me this long. And part 2 will be up probably next week. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you have a good one. Bye for now.